So can we go back?
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so let's
start
talk
at the beginning with you.
All right, let's talk
because
some
you're
shit.
a Valley girl originally, born and raised, right?
No, so I
Not Valley.
No, I wasn't born. I was actually born in Canada, Windsor, Ontario.
How do I not know that?
Really?
I don't know that.
Proud Windsor native, across from Detroit. My parents escaped from communist Hungary in 1969. A lot of people don't know this, but in Hungary at that time, the Russians had annexed most of Central and Eastern Europe. So the Russians basically fucked up all those countries. It was called the Iron Curtain, and they would just take all the money and the resources and funnel it to Russia. It was a fucking dog shit life. My parents had severely traumatic
I've seen Rocky
upbringings.
IV.
You see that? That's exactly it. That's exactly
Y'all
it.
had like a bowl and a spoon and like a bear hat, and that was it. Yeah.
What a nightmare. I used to hear stories. Oh, for Christmas, I had an orange, and I was very happy for the orange. I had chicken once a year. You have
Once a
chicken every
year.
day. Like, I hear these stories. And then, the neighbors, they would tell children to rat out their parents to the KGB if you spoke against the government. There was no free
What?
speech. There was no freedom of religion. It was really oppressive. And my parents grew up very poor and very just fucked. Both my parents had one of their parents die when they were children, and then they were left in poverty, and just like whatever horrible shit, that's what happened. Anyway, so my parents decide, fuck this country, Hungary, in 1969, and they escape like at the age
How?
of 20. Okay. So they escaped through Yugoslavia at first. They got put in a prison there. And then they get out and they find a guy who they pay.
Why were they put in prison?
So
they got caught leaving?
They got caught leaving Hungary. So Hungary and Yugoslavia, they border each other. And my parents got on a train one day, packed their bags, just took a handful of papers. You need your papers to cross the border. And they got on a train to Yugoslavia. First stop in Yugoslavia, they check them, they look at them, they're like, oh, you guys are Hungarians. Where's your papers? What, your papers? No papers? Great, you're in jail. And he goes, but I'm going to let you out, I think, if you go back to Hungary right away. So he says, so my dad lies to him and goes, yeah, we'll get off. We'll go back to Hungary. Of course, gets off at the first train exit and goes right back through Yugoslavia again. They find a guy who can get them to Italy. They pay somebody, and after a few days, they go to Italy, and they're then in a camp in Italy for, I think, a camp, like a refugee camp for like a year and a half. And then my parents were like 20 and 21.
Living in tents?
Yeah.
For a year and a half?
Yeah.
Damn.
And the Americans came and they asked my father stuff.
Where the fuck's my canteen? Somebody stole my canteen. It's got my name on it.
Right. Can you imagine?
No.
I know.
I can't.
That's
It's probably
nightmare.
cold as fuck.
Cold as fuck and just scary. And they don't speak Italian. My dad learned, my mother and my father learned a little bit of Italian along the way. And the U.S. government knew that they were from, the Iron Curtain. And they...
How?
Because there's,
Are they
spies.
trying to become... Oh, really?
Yeah, so we want to come to the U.S.
Right.
That's the goal. And the U.S. is like, okay, well, give us information, because my dad was in the military in Hungary. And they showed him pictures of bases. And he goes, is this where show us where everything is kept? And my dad would give them information about what the Russians were doing.
This is Detroit. Detroit? Yeah.
So then the Catholic Church ends up sponsoring my parents. They fly to Canada because the U.S. tells my father.
That's never gone bad for anyone.
No.
The Catholic Church supporting it. Yeah. That's good.
I'm so thankful. But anyway, they said to my dad, you can come in to the U.S., but you have to go to Vietnam. And my dad was like, fuck that. I just came from a war zone.
Oh, they wanted him to enlist? That was the only way to get in?
And that was the deal. If you survive Vietnam, you could come to the U.S.
Jesus.
I know. And he was like, fuck that.
What about just dropping him right in Detroit?
Same shit, right?
I mean, if you survive Detroit, you should be allowed to stay.
Especially in the 70s or 69 when they came over, or 70. So they land in Detroit, and my dad's stoked because he can buy a hot dog and a can of Coke for $5. He can't believe it. He loves the cars. He saw a black person for the first time, and that's like the greatest moment of his life. He saw like a guy with a big feather. He said he saw a pimp, and he didn't know it was a pimp.
His first black person ever is a pimp.
Yeah. And he just loved America, and so did my mother. And because they listened to free radio, was it BBC Free Radio in Hungary? And they liked the Beatles, and they also liked American stuff. Anyway, Canada, I'm born there. We moved to the U.S. in 1980. My parents split, and shit gets wacky. So my mom, okay, basically.
How old are you?
4 years old.
You're 4 when they split.
Yeah. And my dad wants to come to California because he comes to visit a few times and he likes the hot chicks and he likes the beaches and he wants to be like that dude, you know.
I can only imagine that coming from where they came from to get here and then hear like the Beach Boys songs and all that shit, and you're just like, this is where I should have been. I can go do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want. There's a guy over there with a feather in his hat.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Well, but forget this whole wife and kid thing.
Right. Yeah.
Which is the problem. So
it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. So my parents split and at 4, and my dad proceeds to bang his way through the San Fernando Valley. I'm talking, looks into the top laughing. It was pussy all day long.
Wait.
Like,
how do you know? Is he's bringing them around you?
How do I know? Yeah, because he rented these houses, and here I am at the time. I'm starting to get awareness of this at like 7, right? And there's just like bitches all the time, different bitches, and like they're naked a lot. They're skinny dip. Oh, fucking.
You're seeing this?
Of course, yeah. And like drinking.
Where's my cabbage patch? Just looking for my preemie.
Right.
Dad.
Right. It was so weird. And I'll never forget this. My dad was just very proud of his body. He is a good looking European guy. And he goes, let's take Christmas picture. I go, okay, yeah. So I got my Cabbage Patch Kid. Funny you mentioned. I had a preemie. Yeah. And he goes, let's take Christmas photograph. We send it back to Hungary. I say, okay, good. So he takes his shirt off and he stands in front of the fireplace. And I'm like this rat, you know.
But his
I'm like,
jeans and everything. There's just a shirtless picture.
Shirtless with a sweatpants.
Fucking Putin, like Putin.
Yeah. Oh my God, I spoke to him. Yes, and he's wearing like Adidas sweatpants, like this track shit on the bottom, shirtless with like a gold necklace, of course. And I'm like on my preemie, and it's in front of the fireplace. And I remember as
just
a 7-year-old,
the two of you,
just the two of us. And I remember at the time being like,
you have that picture.
I'll find it for you. I gotta find it.
Please find that picture.
But I had an awareness, like this is wacky. Like why is he taking his shirt off? And then he sent it out to everybody in the family, like Merry Christmas. Like it was a weird, like shit like that. And he drank a lot. My dad was an alcoholic. So there was that. And then my mother.
So wait, all right.
Yeah,
so
go ahead. It's a lot. We got to.
You leave Detroit. Your dad leaves Detroit.
We all get in a van.
All of you. Your mom does
in
too.
1980.
Okay, so you come to California together. He doesn't leave you guys back there and then you come out.
Correct.
All right.
We all get in a van. And
so we've gone
drive.
from fucking Hungary to Yugoslavia to Italy to Detroit to Canada where you're born, back to Detroit. Now we're going our way through the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, we're here in LA. And I moved to LA when I'm 4 years old in 1980.